Hello everyone, this is Christina from craftmuse, and today's tutorial is going to be for little Scrump from Lilo and Stitch. So here she is. And Scrump, if you're not familiar with who she is, she's just like the little rag doll that Lilo made by herself on the movie, from the movie Lilo and Stitch. So that's why she kind of looks scary cute. Because she was made by a child. So this is her right here. And this is my third time trying, no, my fourth time trying to film this tutorial. I mean, I didn't get through the entire 3 times of trying to film the previous tutorial, but I did have to stop and film, stop and film, stop and film, because I kept making the same mistake over and over again, which was the mouth, which isn't really that hard, but for some reason I was just having difficulties that day. So here I am back 2 weeks later after attempting to film this, and I'm going to try again, and hopefully I can get through it this time. So for Scrump, I have a rough band count here for what you're going to need to make her. So the body color you can use, like, she's really lighter in color than this color here, but I didn't have enough. I was going to use the mint green from the pastel pack, but I didn't have enough. So you're going to need 420 of the body color. So you could use like the turquoise color from Rainbow Loom. This is the off-brand band. I guess it's like a turquoise color. It's from like Stretch Loop bracelet loops or something like that. I got them from Joann's, but that's the color I used for this. Today I'm going to use a color from the Paradise Blue mixed pack, the Sweets Blue Paradise Mix. So this is like more the aqua turquoise color that comes in that mix, and so I had enough to make up, like, I think there's at least 600 in there, so I'm going to use those. So you're going to need about 420 of those. Again, this is a rough band count, so you're going to need something for the collar. So I used red because that's what color it is in the movie. So you're going to need 35 of those. For pink, you're going to need 18 if you're making a bow. Yellow, you're going to need roughly about 10. It's going to vary for everyone because you can put as many of these or as little as or as few of these as you want for her hair. And then you'll need some black, so I'd say about 10 for the black. So now here comes the part where I had to get a little creative, was with the eyes. I realized I could have done like magic rings just and closed it off when I was finished with the magic ring. But when I tried that, it didn't come out too clean looking. So what I did was I used safety eyes. So these are the 12mm safety eyes, and they were originally black. So this one is still black, but I just painted an X on it. So if you have safety eyes, you can get a little creative with this by painting one eye blue and then putting the little 4 dots on there, like to represent a button. And then the other one I just left black and then painted a yellow X to represent the stitching that forms an X. So I try to get the eyes closer to what it would look like in the movie. I tried using buttons, but you would have the, like for the black one here where it has the X stitch, it would have worked out fine because you could have just put your yellow bands to form an X in your button and attached it that way. But for this one here where it's just white dots, I didn't know how to attach it without the rubber bands showing through. So I guess I could have glued it on and then painted the holes white and then painted the button blue. But this is what I came up with. So you guys are going to have to get a little creative with the eyes. And if you like don't have safety eyes or buttons, I guess you could probably do the magic ring and just add some detailing with the yellow X and then some of the white spots there. So just be creative. Try to find materials that you have around your house. Like for this eye here, I used nail polish because I didn't have a dark blue paint color because I'm not like, I don't paint a lot, so I don't have a ton of colors. So I used the blue nail polish for this eye here, and then for these little details on top, like the little dots and the eggs, I just used puff paint. So just remember you can use paints, puff paints, nail polishes, whatever. So I've already gone ahead and made my two eyes that I'm going to be using. So again, I just did the yellow X, and then for this one I painted it a lighter blue this time. So you'll need that, and then you'll need some polyfill, and your crochet hook or rainbow loom hook, and then a C-clip or a stitch marker. So let's get started on Scrump. This is a very simple design. It's just the mouth that I was having problems with, and I think it might have been the bands I was using last time. So let's see how this turns out this time. So we're going to be starting off with the arms and the legs, and they're both, all four of them are going to be the same. So, of course, this is going to be in the body color that you are using. So, I'll make the first one with you, and then if you want to go ahead and pause the video and make the remaining three, you can do that. So we're going to start off with a magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So I will take my first band and wrap it around my hook 3 times. Well, actually 2. So there's 1, 2, and 3. So I've got 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to take my next band and bring this capping band onto this band here. Slide it towards the center, push this band down on my hook, and then put the other end onto my hook. Now you're going to grab your capping band and then just slide this stitch here through this stitch here. Now you want to stick your hook through the capping band, so you want to make sure you're going through all 3 loops. So you've got your capping band on your hook and you've got this band over here on your hook. You're going to grab another band, bring it through the capping band only, and up onto your hook. And you're going to slide this first band through these 2 here. So that was 2 stitches. We need to do 4 more. So stick your hook through your capping band, bring your band through cap band only up onto your hook, and slide under. Okay, so we need to do that 3 more times. So there's 4. 5. And 6. So what you should have now is a little circle with 6 stitches in it. Your stitches are these little V shapes on the sides. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this band that's on my hook also will count as a stitch. Now grab your C-clip or your stitch marker and place it on the band that's on your hook. Now what we are going to do is for row 2, we're going to just be doing single crochets around in the 6 stitches. So basically for the next 4 rows, we're going to be just doing single crochets around in the 6 stitches. So stick your hook through that first stitch, grab a band, pull it through the stitch only, through the stitch, up onto your hook, and then slide under. So that was 1 single crochet. Go to your next stitch, grab a band, pull it through your stitch only, up onto your hook, and then slide under. Keep going around with single crochets. going to take my C-clip out and do this last stitch here. Okay, so that was the end of row 2, and you should still have 6 stitches. So I'm just going to mark it off, so that's, I've done row 2. Now I need to do row 3. Again, these are just single crochets in the 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so that was row 3. We're going to do the same thing for rows 4 and rows 5. So I'm going to pause the video, go ahead and do 2 more rounds with the single crochets in the 6 stitches only. Alright, so once you finish those 2 rounds, you should be left with this. So that is one arm or leg, whatever one you're making. Now what you want to do is stick your hook through that very first stitch there. Grab another band and you want to bring it through all the loops on your hook. And then put the other end onto your hook. And then tie this into a slip knot. And then just make sure you fix it up so that your magic ring is centered. Now there's no need to stuff these. If you do stuff them, you're going to have stuffing coming out of the holes. So I would recommend that you do not stuff these arms or legs. So go ahead and pause the video and make 3 more of these. And then I will meet you back here when you're finished with that. Okay, so I have finished my 4 appendages. So here they are, little glittery arms and legs. So now let's start on the head and the body, head/body. It is attached, so the only thing that we will have to attach are the arms and the legs and the hair and the mouth and stuff like that, but try to make the attachment as easy as possible because I hate attaching things to Loomigurumi. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to start off with, of course, we're starting off with our body color. So we're going to do a magic ring with the 6 stitches in it. So just like we started with our arms and legs. So I'm going to wrap my band around my hook so that I have 3 loops on there. And I'm going to form my magic ring. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So go ahead and just kind of fix your circle a little bit. Grab your stitch marker or C-clip and place it on the band that's on the hook. Next row around is row 2, and we're going to do increases all the way around so that we end up with 12 stitches. So to do that, we're going to be doing 2 single crochets in each stitch so that we go from 6 stitches to 12. So we'll go into our first stitch here. You're going to grab a band and bring it through this stitch only, up onto your hook, and then slide under. I'm going to go back into that first stitch again, band through the stitch up onto your hook and slide under. So that was our first increase. Next we're going to go to stitch number 2 and do the same exact thing. So there's 1, go back in, and 2. Stitch number 3, 1 and 2. Number 4, 1, 2, stitch 5, okay, and then here I'm on stitch 6. Now if I'm going too fast for you, go ahead and pause the video until you're caught up with till you have your 12 stitches around. Or if you're not understanding something, you can always rewind, go back and watch it again. That's a good thing about YouTube. I find it's really hard to find the perfect pace for everybody. So I apologize if I'm either going too fast or too slow for you. I'm trying to like meet in the middle here somehow. Okay, so you should have 12 stitches all together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then the band that's on your hook counts as 12. Go ahead and stick your C-clip in the band that's on your hook. Next we're going to be doing row 3, which the pattern is going to be a single crochet and then an increase. So we'll repeat that all the way around. So we'll go single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, until we end up with 18 stitches. So my first stitch is a single crochet. My second stitch is going to be an increase, which is going to be the 2 single crochets in the stitch. So there's 1, 2. My third stitch will be a single. Fourth will be an increase. Fifth will be a single. Sixth stitch will be an increase. Seven is a single. 8, increase. 1, increase. 1, and then last stitch here will be an increase. Oops. Okay, so you should now have 18 stitches in your round. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Stick your C-clip or stitch marker in the band on your hook. And now let's continue on to row 4. So for row 4, we're going to be doing a pattern of single crochet, and then an increase, so that we end up with 24 stitches. So our first stitch will be a single, second stitch will be a single, and third stitch will be an increase, and then it will repeat. So single, single, increase, single, single, increase. So do that all the way around, and you should have 24 when you're done. So we'll do our single crochet in the first stitch, go to your second stitch, do a single crochet. My third stitch is going to be an increase, so there's 1, go back in, and 2. Now my 4th stitch, I'm going back to singles. So here's a single crochet. Next stitch is a single. And the next stitch is an increase. Back to singles. So single, single, and then increase. Back to singles. So single, single, increase, single, single, increase, single, single, then last stitch is an increase. Alright, you should have 24 stitches. I recommend you count your stitches after each row, just so you don't, if you mess up, you can just go back, pull out the ones that you messed up on, and redo the row. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So even if I don't actually do a count on the tutorial, just make sure you're doing it, just because if you keep going with the wrong amount of stitches, you're going to have to go all the way back and find where you went wrong, and that's going to be difficult. Okay, so now we are basically just doing single crochets around for the next 4 rounds. So for rows 5 through 8, we're going to be doing single crochets around the 24 stitches. So I will do row 5 with you, and then you can do 6, 7, and 8 on your own. Okay, just make sure you kind of keep track. So we're just doing single crochets around. I really hope this turns out this time. I don't know. I think it was like I was using the Caribbean green bands. And they're different texture from the opaque, so it might have been why I was having trouble with the mouth. I don't know, it just wasn't looking right, and it's not like this texture is any better than the Caribbean green, because it's like a jelly. So we'll see how it turns out. I really wish I had enough of the teal. I was just shy of like 10. I mean the mint green, not the teal. It's okay because I like glitter, sparkly things. Okay, so that was end of row 5. So now I need to do 3 more rows of the same thing. So I'm going to mark off that I did row 5. So go ahead and pause the video and finish up with your 3 rounds, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, I did my additional 3 rows around, so this is what you should have. So let's continue on to row 9. So here we are going to be doing a single crochet, and then a decrease. Single, single, decrease. So we'll repeat that all the way around so that we end up with 18 stitches. So my first stitch here, I will do a single crochet. Second stitch will be single. Okay, now I'm going to do a decrease. So I'm going to stitch this one and this one together. So I'm going to poke my hook through that loop. I'm not going to go all the way through. I'm just going to go in between so that I've only got one loop in the front and one in the back. Then I'm going to go to the next stitch and do the same thing. So go in between the next stitch. So you have these 2 loops here from the 2 stitches, and then you have this loop over here. You'll grab a band and bring it through the first 2 loops only. Put it back up onto your hook and then slide under. So that was a decrease. So now we're going back to the single crochets. So our stitch here will be a single, and then another single, and now another decrease. So I'm going to go in between this stitch here and the next one over, bring my band through those 2 loops up onto my hook, and then slide. Let's keep going. So we have single crochet, single, and then an increase. Single, single. Wait, did I say increase earlier? I meant decrease. Single, single, decrease. Single, single, and then a decrease. So once you're finished with that one, you should have a total of 18 stitches around. So let's continue on with row 10. Okay, so for row 10, single crochets around in the 18 stitches. So let's just go around with single crochets. So you should still have your 18 stitches in. Let's start working on the face for a little bit here. So go ahead and stick your hook through that first stitch there, and then grab a band, whatever color band you want to use, and bring it through all the loops that are on your hook, and then just tie that into a slip knot. Okay, so we're almost done with the head, and once we finish with it and stuff it up, it will be more round. So let's start adding some of the facial features. Let's start off with the hair. So you're going to grab whatever color you're using. Scrump's hair is like a yellowish color, so I'm just using some glitter yellow from the, I don't remember what it's called. It's a rainbow loom mix. Oh yeah, the Sweet Tutti Frutti. So you have two options of what you can do with your hair. I'm going to do mine the same as what I did before, but all I did was I took the bands and put them on my hook. So just put as many as you want. You don't have to make them too fluffy if you don't want to. Okay, so I put some bands on my hook. Gonna grab one more band and another one, put on my hook, slide this band on, put the other end up, and then tie this into a slip knot. And now I just want to slide these on to this band here. And then we're just going to tie it on to her head. So just make sure these don't fall off. Now it really doesn't matter which way is front and which way is back. So I am going to place my hair. If you can see, you have your magic ring where we first started the design. So it's right there. That's where my hair is going to go. So I'm going to go on both sides of the magic ring. So here's one hole here I'm going to go through and a hole here. That's what I'm going to pull these loops through. So I'll go up through my head, stick my hook through, then I'll pull one end down. I'm going to keep this yellow band on my hook. I'm not going to take it off. Okay, now I'm going to find that other side that I want to go. Wait, did this get... What in the world? Okay. Go up on the other side and grab her hook and grab that end through. And then what you're going to do here is you should have both bands on your hook. Now take them off and then tie it into a slip knot. So as you can see, this is the inside, but you can see this is the magic ring right here, and my bands are just off to the side. So I'm just tying in a knot. There we go. And there we go. We will be adding a bow to her. But let me just show you if you want to do her hair differently, because in the movie she has like kind of stick-like hair, so it just sticks up like little sticks. You could just take your band color that you're using for the hair, wrap it around your hook once, then grab all the bands and wrap them around again. And then you're just going to start double looping bands and chaining them till you make the length that you want. So you want to make at least 3 of these chains. So let's say you're going to add like 5 to this one here, and then maybe you'll do another one that has like maybe 8 double looped bands on it, and then the side one that has another 5, and then you just slide it onto a slip knotted band and place it on the same exact way. Just a suggestion. I'm sure you guys could have figured that out on your own because it's just simple basic stuff. Alright, let's make our bow to go with her hair. I'm on a glitter kick right now, so I'm using the Sweets pink bands. So for our bow, we're going to first start off with a magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So grab your band, wrap it around your hook twice, and then start making your magic ring. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. Now what you want to do, after you fix it up, is go through that first loop, keep it on your hook, grab another band, and wrap it around your hook twice so that you have 3 loops here. You're going to grab your next band, bring it through the capping band, what is that noise? I'm trying to remember. Bring it through the capping band. So I brought it through the capping band, and I'm going to bring it through all these loops right here. So I just slipped my capping band and my magic ring onto this band here. Then I'm going to reclaim and slide under. So even though I have this magic ring attached, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to just be using this capping band here. So go back into your capping band. Bring a band through, up onto your hook, and slide under. Capping band, band through the capping band, up onto your hook, and slide under. So you're just going to keep going around till you put 6 stitches in this one. Basically, we just attached the magic rings to each other. Okay, so once you've got your 6 stitches in, I'm gonna go through the next one, grab a band and bring it through all the loops on your hook. And then you're gonna tie it into a slip knot. And then I'm going to take this band here and just wrap it around. Once, pull it and again. Then in the back, just go through that center band and pull that little end loop through. Whoops. Then you can stretch it out. So there's her little bow, and if you don't like that one, you can always do the super easy one where you just lay the bands on the loom and then just slip knot them in the center. So now let's attach this to her hair. So I still have this little loop in the back that I'm going to go through. So I'll stick my hook in there, and then I'll stick my hook through a center band, grab a single band and bring it through. Hold on, I want to tuck this one in one more time. Okay, so I'm going through that loop, then through this, putting my band through both. And then I'll use these two loops to tie it off, to tie it onto the head. So find wherever you're going to be using as the front of your face. And then just place your bow on and bring those two loops through the head. And go on the inside. I just left both loops on my hook. So I've got both loops. I'm just going to slide one under, and then going to go in some stitches on the inside of the face. I'm going to grab a body color band and bring it through all the loops on my hook and then tie it off. Okay, so now you've got your bow and your hair. Now we can add her eyes. So get your eyes ready. Hopefully you guys figured out what you wanted to use for the eyes. I'm sorry I don't have like a more specific way of doing it. It's just really going to be based on what you have on hand. And even if you can't do like the button looking eyes, then feel free just to use wrap bands or pony beads or whatever you guys have. I'm sure she will still look just as cute with regular eyes. Alright, so I've got my eyes here, and the reason why the backings are on already is because I've already tried filming this, like I said previously. So, if you do mess up in your placement of your eyes, if you're using safety eyes, you can take them out because the rubber bands stretch. So you can just stretch them out, not like too much, but you can pop them out of your Loomigurumi creation, which is why I am able to reuse these safety eyes again, even though I had them on a different face. So you just find where you want to put your eye, obviously on the front of the face. I was about to do the back of the head. But sometimes I just kind of squish it down so that it's even. So we've got the same amount on the front. And then I kind of just like to look at it and place my eyes before I even like actually push them through, just to kind of see what it would look like. Obviously this is easier to do when you don't have the backing on already. Okay, and then once you found your spot, go ahead and place them through. Which I don't even know if I found my spot yet, but we'll see. Just going to test this one out. Oh no, I put the wrong eye on. Oh yes, I forgot to remind you. The blue eye, if you are doing the blue and black eyes, the blue one is going to go on the right. And the black will be on the left. Sorry, sometimes eye placement takes me a little while. Alright, that should be good. We can get to the dreaded part, which is the mouth. The part that I am dreading because I'm scared that it's not going to turn out again. But here we go. Let's get started on the mouth. So you have the choice to use your hook, or you can use a yarn needle. Let me grab mine. I'm going to use a yarn needle. See if this helps a little bit more. These yarn needles I got at Michael's for very cheap. So you can find them, if you don't have yarn needles, you can find them at craft stores. They come in either plastic or metal. So this is mine, I just have a metal one. And it's got a larger hole for yarn, that's meant for yarn. So like if you're sewing up crochet items or like amigurumi and stuff like that, you would use this to sew up with. So I found that it works well with rainbow loom. So if you do a lot of Loomigurumi stuff and there's a lot of attaching involved, I would suggest getting a yarn needle to do that because it makes it easier to attach with this. So I'm going to use this for my mouth. Now you're going to need some black bands first. And we want to attach these. Want to make a long chain of slip knotted bands with these black bands. So I'm going to attach this to my needle. I'm going to slide this through. Slide the band through. Maybe. Okay. Like raving about this yarn needle and then it's not working. Okay, so I got it through. Now I'm just gonna bring my needle through so that it ties a slip knot onto my needle. And then I'm just going to go from there. So I'll just keep adding slip knotted bands to my needle until I think I have a good length. We're sewing our entire mouth with one length of a chain, so make sure, depending on how big or small your mouth is, just make sure you're going to have enough black bands. So I always put a little bit more just to be safe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, and one more because 7 is an odd number, and 8. Okay, so there's my little thread. Now your hook, if you're using a hook, it's going to go the same exact way as if you're using a needle. So your guys' mouth is going to be up to you on how you want to do it. You could do like a small little mouth, or you could do a larger one. I would suggest maybe Googling Scrump so you can kind of see what the shape of her mouth is. I'm not going to do the exact shape that it is in the movie. I'm just going to kind of make it like a squiggle. So, alright, I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that this works out. So if you're using your needle, bring it through, or your hook, bring it through and up. Making sure you go up, pulling this up until you get to that very first knot. And stop right there. Don't pull too hard because it will come out and you need it to hold. So next I'm going to go diagonal to this next hole here and go down. So I'm going to go to this hole right next to that one. You might have to play around with this a few times before you get it the right way. So now I have that gap right here and here in between these two. I'm going to go into this hole here to close up that gap. Now I want to start going up a little bit. So I'm going to come up here. I have a feeling I'm going to have to do this again. And then I have to close up this gap here. Yep, I don't like it. I really do not like sewing on details with bands. I would much rather use embroidery floss for this. Alright, so I didn't like that. So now what can I do? What can I do? I'm just trying things out here. Sorry. Alright, so I took out the mouth that I was working on previously and put this one in. I know it's not the best, but I think it's going to work for me. So I just basically went over, up, across, down, and then over. So if you want something similar like that, that's kind of like what kind of pattern you would follow. I wanted her mouth a little bit smaller than the one that I made earlier. So we still have to add the little red stitches over the top of the black, but I'm going to tie this black off here that I had my, what's it called? My needle attached to. So first I want to tie it into a knot, so I'm going to just bring it through some bands and then tie it. Alright, let's add some little stitches to her mouth. For the mouth, I will just be using regular opaque red from Rainbow Loom, and now I want to make these into slip knotted bands. You don't need as many as you did with the black. So I'm just going to place it on my hook, grab another band, bring it through, up onto my hook, and then tie that into a slip knot. I'm going to keep going like this until you get the length that you want. I guess I'll do, that's 3, there's 4, there's 5, and then I'll do one more. So I'm going to do 6. I'm not going to use my needle for this part. Okay, now choose where you want your stitches to be. They don't have to be perfect because this is a doll made by a child. So just make sure you're not making your stitches too long. So I'm going to go as close as I can to this black here. Bring down my my red into the face. Just going to pull it out a little bit more. And then you're going to go right under that black. Bring the other end through. And then go where you want your next red stitch to be. So bring it out of the head. And down. Gonna do one over here. Out of the head. And down. I'm pulling these a little tight so that they're not too thick. Okay, one more. So I'm going to put it here. No, I don't want that there. Put it right here. Yes, I'm talking to myself. Okay. It's not perfect. That's okay. Alright, so once you've finished that up, then you want to tie these off. I'm just going to tie them in a knot. Don't pull too hard though. And then I'm just going to take off this extra band here that I don't need. Alright, we're done with the head. Yay. I did it! Yay! Well, it's not as good as I wanted it to turn out, but that's better than last time, I guess. So, let's continue on with our rounds. So we're going to decrease one more time for the head, and then we'll start into the neck area. So, what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, after we do this next row around, we're going to stuff it a little bit. Okay, so where we left off last was on row 10. We finished with the single crochets with the 18 stitches. Now we are going to be working on row 11, and we will be doing a single crochet followed by a decrease all the way around so that we end up with 12 stitches. So take out your tying off band if you haven't done that yet, that you used while we were putting on the face. Pick up where you last left off and put your C-clip on here to mark your spot. So we're going to start off with a single crochet. And then we're going to be doing a decrease. Why the camera? Okay. So in between one stitch and then in between the next, band through the two, onto your hook and slide under. Back to single crochet. So single and then a decrease. Single, decrease. Single, decrease. Single, decrease, oopsie, single, And then take your C-clip out and end with a decrease. Right, so you should now have 12 stitches around. So here's where we want to switch to red, and I said earlier that we were going to stuff here, but I lied. So let us switch to our red first, and then we'll add a little bit of stuffing in. Place your C-clip in the band that's on your hook. Now let's go around in red with single crochets. So stick your hook through that first. Grab your red, pull it through all the bands on your loops, or your bands on your hook, because we're doing a color change. So we want to do a slip stitch. So I'm bringing my band through this first stitch here and through the band that's on my hook. I'm going to put the other end of the red up onto my hook and then slide under like I'm tying a slip knot. Very loose one. Then I'm going to go to the next stitch and just do single crochet. The next stitch will be single. They're all single, by the way. Just these bands are really hard to work with for Loomigurumi. Very sticky. Okay, here's my last one here. Alright, so you've got your 12 stitches around in the red. Now let's go ahead and add a little bit into the head of stuffing. Just a little bit at a time. Just to make sure you're like using your fingers to kind of round out her face, because it might have gotten a little messed up when we were putting on the facial features. But don't use too much. Okay, so once you've got your stuffing in, go ahead and grab your C-clip and place it on the band that's on your hook. Now we are on row 13, and this is still in red. So our pattern is going to be single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, followed by an increase so that we end up with 15 stitches. So 3 single crochets and then an increase. We're going to repeat that all the way till we get to the end, and we will end up with 15 stitches. So since we did a color change here, you're going to have this first red stitch here that's kind of pointing the wrong way as compared to these other ones here. You're going to skip that stitch there. That was just from the slip stitch that we did. Okay, so we're going to be doing a single crochet. So there's one. And then the second stitch will be a single. That's 2. Third stitch will be an increase. No wait, a third stitch will be a single, sorry about that. Fourth will be an increase. So there's 1 and Now we're going back to our single crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. Single crochets, 3 of them again. 1, 2, 3. And our last one here will be an increase. So there's 1 and 2. Go ahead and stick your C-clip on the band that's on your hook. And our next row around, we're switching back to body color now. So for row 14, we're just single crocheting around in the 15 stitches. So go into your first stitch here, and we have to switch over back to body color. So grab your body color and bring it through that red stitch and the band that's on your hook, and then do a slip stitch. And then just continue around with single crochets. Sorry, I would go faster, but these red bands are very sticky. I don't think I can imagine doing a whole like huge Loomigurumi project with these bands. Not the glitter ones, the silk ones. They're pretty, but it would be a pain in the butt. It would take double the time. Okay, last one here. Yes, my hair is all messed up. Well, Scrump's hair. Yeah, mine too, but you can't see that. Okay, so that was row 14. Now we will be on row 15. So the rest of this is all in body color, so I'll just tell you that right now. We're not gonna have to do any more body color changes. So for row 15, we will be doing a single crochet, followed by an increase so that we end up with 20 stitches. So put your C-clip on the band that's on your hook. We're gonna be skipping this first stitch here in the body color because that's from our slip stitch, so make sure you skip that one. just go into the next stitch. So we're going to do a single crochet, another single crochet, and then in our third stitch we're going to do an increase. So there's 1, 2. Again with the single crochets, so there's 1, another single, 2, and another single, nope, just 2, sorry. Did I do that over here? 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, yes, okay, increase. So 2 and then increase. Okay, so single crochet, single, and increase. Single, single, increase, single, single, and in our last stitch here will be an increase. So there's 1 and 2. Let's stop there for a moment and go ahead and attach our arms. Just gonna stick my C-clip in. Oh, it's so bothering me that she keeps getting messed up every time. Oh, now you have a hook topper. Okay, so let's put on her arms, and these are actually going to go right where the collar is. So they're going to attach on the sides of the collar. So I already have one tying off band. Just gonna go to the other side right next to it and put another tying off band. So slide a band through up onto your hook and slip knot. So there's one arm, and then do the other one. And then you would place these however you want. So if you want them going up or down, I'm going to do down this time because I did up last time. So you just bring them through. So there's one end. And bring the other end through. I'm going to bring this one up higher. Hold on, I want this to be higher. Sorry, guys. And then you'll just tie that in a knot. So Except it got caught on my C-clip here. Okay. Tie that into a tight knot. Okay, so there's one arm. Then we will do the other arm. Okay, whatever. Alright, so we got her arms on. I don't really like how this one came out. I don't like her light eye there. Oh well, let's continue on with the rest of her body. So we left off at row 15. So the next thing we want to do are single crochets around in the 20 stitches for 3 rounds. So I will do the first one with you, and then if you want to pause the video, you can finish the remaining 2. So we're just going around in the 20 stitches. Two, three, four, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, one more. Alright, so that's the end of that one. Stick your C-clip back in and do 2 more rounds with just the single crochets in the 20 stitches. And I will meet you back here when you're finished with that. I'm back and my 2 additional rounds are finished. So this is what you should have right here. And we have 3 more rows to go. And then we'll close her up and add her legs and we will be finished. So while I was doing these rounds here, the hair was really bothering me with the bow like flopping everywhere. So I just fixed that real quick by taking a yellow band and wrapping it around the hair. So as you can see back here, I have this yellow band here, and I just wrapped it around the bottom where the bow is and where the hair is. Wrapped it around like 4 times just to keep it standing nice and straight up like it's supposed to. So that makes me feel better now that I won't have to keep fixing that because that was really, really bothering me. Okay, so if you guys want to do that, there's a little, that will help a little bit with your hair. Alright, so now we are going to be doing row 19 and we are decreasing so that we will have 15 stitches. So our pattern is going to be single crochet, and then a decrease. We'll repeat this pattern all the way around, and then we shall have 15 stitches. So here is 1 single crochet, here's 2, and now we want to do a decrease. So I'm going in between the stitch and then in between the next stitch, band through the first 2 only, up onto my hook and slide under. Back to my single crochet, so single, single, and then a decrease. Single, I hate when that happens. So where was I? Single, single, and then a decrease. Single, single, decrease, single, single, and then we'll do a decrease. Whoops, that's a broken bend. Alright, so you should now have a total of 15 stitches. So let's do this next row around and then we will put some stuffing in her because we will be closing her up pretty soon here. So the pattern for row 20 is going to be single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and then a decrease. So 3 single crochets and then a decrease. Repeat that all the way around and we should end up with 12 stitches. Our first stitch is going to be a single crochet. Second stitch is going to be a single. Third is going to be a single. And then our next one is going to be a decrease. Okay, back to the singles. So here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. And then a decrease. Back to the singles. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease. Now we should have 12 stitches. Just gonna slide this down onto my hook a little bit because I want to stuff her body, and make sure you're getting stuffing in the neck area as well. Again, just a little bit at a time. She really does not need much stuffing at all because it's a very small design, so like with the size of the Loomigurumi projects that I do, it takes me a long time to go through one bag of polyfill. I wish I had made her eye darker. It would have looked better, but it's okay. I think I put too much stuffing in here after I told you not to. Okay. Our last row around, yay, last row, we are going to be just decreasing all the way around. So we have a total of 12 stitches right now. We need to do 6 decreases so that we end up with 6 stitches. I'm going to do my first decrease here. There's 1. Here's 2. Three. 4. 5 and 6. Once you've gotten that to that point, you have this little gap here, so you should have a total of 6 stitches in this little round here. I'm going to take another band, body color band, and bring it through this loop right here and up onto my hook, and then tie that into a slip knot. Now what I want to do is take this long tying off band and bring it through the top loops of each stitch left in this round. So try to at least find 5 to bring this through. I know sometimes the 6th one is a little hard to find. So I'm just going through the top loop, bringing that band through, and I'm just going to go around, and this will close up our gap that we have right now. Where am I? I looked away for a moment and then I lost like where I'm going. And I only went through, okay, I think I found it. I went through 3 stitches, so. Okay, so once you have gone through as many as you can find, just go ahead and push your thumb down in the center and then pull this string nice and tight, but not too tight to where you break it. So that closed up our gap. And now we're just going to tie this tying off band into a knot. So I'm just going to go to a stitch right next to it, bring this band through, and I'm going to take this and bring it through the center. And then I'm going to push my fingers down while I pull this. And if you're having problems with your tying off band being too long, you can just take that one slip knotted band out and then just hide the rest of the, just hide this little one here. So just pull that through into the body. And now we can add her legs. Okay, where did my legs go? Oh, here they are. So grab your your 2 legs that you had. And just like what we did with the arms, we're just going to go on the other side of that tying off band. So stick your hook through, and then you're just going to tie a slip knot onto this one. And then as well as the other one. Yeah. Let me fix that. Alrighty, and then we can attach it. So you can either make her standing up. Sorry, I was out of the camera. Standing up, or you can have her legs to where she would be sitting down. This one, I just attached her legs so that they're kind of just out there. So I think I attached them, right. How come this one looks different? Attach them towards the bottom. I want to attach mine so that she's sitting. So if you're going to make her sit, you would just place your leg where you want it to be. And then you're going to bring through one end and then the other end. Okay, so I have this tying off band here, and then I have this one here. So I am going to go there's a stitch right next to this one here. I'm just going to go right here. I'm going to stick my hook in there, go under and grab that other tying off band that is over there. So I have these two, and they're right next to each other, and I'm just going to tie these into a knot. Okay, and then you can just go in the body and tuck that in. Well, she's gonna be doing the splits because, oh my gosh. I think I might tie like a tying off band right here to make her leg go more forward. Otherwise, she's gonna be like she's like a gymnast. Sometimes it's hard to work with rubber bands to get it to sit exactly how you want it to. Okay, now I want to do the same thing over here. So I'm just going to bring my tying off band through one. And then through the other. And these are pretty close to each other. Close enough that I can just tie these into a knot and then hide it. That's a good thing about the legs being the same color as the body, because it blends in so you really can't see this little knot that we're tucking in here. I normally like to attach things before we stuff it up so that you can hide all that stuff on the inside. But this one was a little hard to do that. So here I have my Scrump, and she's doing the side splits. If you want to fix that, if yours is doing the same thing and you want her to sit like this, then you can take, just position it how you want it. Go in through a stitch in the body and a stitch in the leg. Grab another band, bring it through, whoops, and tie it into a slip knot. And that kind of brought her leg in a little bit, and then you can just, of course, tuck that in. I've got stuffing all over the place here. She's leaking. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing, because then she's going to sit nice on her own. Sew through the body. Through the leg. And tie that off. And then hide it. Oh my goodness, I'm getting messy here. Okay, so I'm just going to pick out this stuff because it's going to bother me if I don't do it. Okay. There, she sits up on her own. So, there's your Scrump. Hopefully yours turned out better than mine did. I mean, she's fine. I just don't like her eye. But that's okay. Not everything is going to turn out how you want it to. She's fine, I guess. I would like this one better, but she kind of got ruined because my 3-year-old, like, took her everywhere. I don't know why he, like, fell in love with this one. But I'm surprised she still has her arms and legs. So, there's Scrump, and I hope you guys enjoyed making her, and I would, of course, love to see yours on Instagram or Facebook. You can hashtag, wait, not hashtag, we're not doing the design contest anymore. You can just tag Cristina.Davis on Instagram, or you can find my page, craftmuse, on Facebook and post directly onto that page there, because I really love to see your guys' creations. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of your little Scrumps. I'm sure they're all going to look different because you have, you know, the option to do your mouth differently than I did, and it will be cool to see what kind of colors you guys use. So yeah, don't forget to do that. And thank you guys so much for all your support and for all your nice comments and likes and for subscribing. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I will see you guys for some more tutorials. I've got a bunch lined up. So it's just a matter of filming them. Let's see what I have. I have some Halloween ones because it's almost Halloween. So I've got to get those out soon. So I've got 2 Tsum Tsums for the spirit of Halloween. I have Zero here from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I think he's really cute. I like how he turned out. And then I have Jack Skellington. For some reason he looks really tiny. But for this one I used buttons. So if you're planning on making him, I would suggest that you get some kind of button because it makes the eyes look nicer. Like I said, I don't really like to use magic rings for the eyes. I just think either the safety eyes or the buttons turn out nicer, and the buttons were bigger than the safety eyes I had, and so that was kind of the look that I was going for that one. And then non-Halloween, I still have Joy to make from Inside Out, so we will be making her. I just added all these little flowers, but I really like how she came out. I love her hair. So we'll be making her as well. And then I have one more fox, but I don't know where he went. Hold on one second, let me find him. Okay, here she is. I made her last night. This is a little, well, I mean, the only reason why it's semi-Halloween is because she's candy corn colors. But of course, this little fox can be made into whatever colors you want, but I thought since it's almost Halloween, I would do something that's cute, but like Halloween-y colors. So I chose candy corn theme to go for this little gal. So I like how she came out, and I will be having a tutorial for her too as well. And then I've got some other tutorials that I am doing for my design contest winner and a friend. So look forward to more look forward to more tutorials coming soon. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and thank you for joining me today for these little dollies. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.